Hi, my name is Moriba, and I'm an associate professor of aerospace engineering and engineering mechanics at the University of Texas at Austin, where I lead a transdisciplinary research program in space safety, security, and sustainability. On November 9th of 1989, when the Berlin Wall fell, I was actually enlisted in the military, in the U.S. military, in the U.S. Air Force, and I was a security guard for intercontinental ballistic missiles stationed at Malmstrom Air Force Base in Montana, in the United States. Back in 1957, when we launched Sputnik, there was only one satellite orbiting the Earth. Now, we track about 26,000 things, ranging in size from a cell phone all the way up to the space station. And there are no space traffic rules. Most of the things that we launch in space stay there pretty much forever. And we're launching more and more things every month and every year. It's a common resource that humanity has to share, except we haven't come up with rules to share it. And we certainly face a tragedy of the commons unless we do something about it. So the wall that I'm breaking is really in making space more transparent, more predictable, and developing a body of evidence to hold people accountable for their behaviors in space. Because that's the only way that we're gonna make space safer, more secure, and long-term environmentally sustainable. In terms of my specific research, there are a number of things that make it quite innovative. One, we're set up to develop a digital twin for the space domain, basically a virtual replica of things happening in space, everything from the space environment, charged particles, particulates, electromagnetic forces acting on objects, gravity, solar flux, and combining this with high fidelity models of anthropogenic space objects, satellites, rocket bodies, things that are dead and alive, and trying to orchestrate this in a big data science and analytics framework and opening it up to other people around the globe that they can contribute their own information, much like apps like Waze that are traffic apps, which is a participatory sensing network. Astrograph, which is the name of our graph database, is also open for people to be able to contribute. So I think the combination of big data science analytics, multiple sources of information that are independent, lots of independent information that can be linked through this knowledge graph database, and then crowdsourcing and using citizen science, all combined to address issues of both science and policy. Well, there have already been market benefits to society from my research. Basically, nobody to date has been able to combine these multiple sources of information in a public-facing website that allows anybody from across the globe to access this in near real time. We're also the first people, again, trying to develop this digital twin that could be used to help predict and really understand what are the common elements in the space domain, all the different actors, countries, and companies acting in space, and through empiricism be able to show how these things affect each other, what are the consequences and even the unintended consequences of our behaviors in this finite resource. It's also making the case that we need to include near-Earth space in environmental protection narratives to extend beyond lands, atmospheres, and oceans, and also include near-Earth space. So all of these things are things that humanity is able to benefit from my research. I think the thing that really keeps me awake at night is I see an escalation of behavior towards negativity and people making claims about other people behaving maliciously, having the intent to start wars in space and these sorts of things, but all of these are not independently corroborated with evidence. And what I think is that deterrence of a conflict in space could be achieved through transparency. If we have eyes on the sky and everybody is looking up at our skies and sharing this information so that anybody across the globe can have access to this information and extract knowledge, then each of us can arrive at our own conclusions, and it'll make the calculus of behaving maliciously in space a bit more challenging and difficult.